Remember, it's not about the gear, it's about how you use the gear. And the best plugin that you have, I'm sorry to tell you this, the best plugin that you have is your ears. Learn to use your ears. There's no amount of gear that will make your music sound better, but your ears. That's the best plugin. Hello and thank you for tuning in. My name is Talo Carrizales from stockmusiclicensing.com. Now today I want to talk to you about limitations, about how can you embrace your limitations and how you can overcome them and actually grow in the process of working your way around whatever limitations you might have. Now the very first limitation that I'm going to talk about is... Yes, Amor, I know. I'm here with my daughter Melina. Which brings me to the very first limitation of all that we all face, including myself, is the lack of time. We have a very limited time to work on our music, to do this YouTube video. I'm doing this video as we speak with my daughter here watching TV, but I have muted or turned down the volume really so I can talk about it. Yes, you want to talk as well, on the video. Lack of time. We don't have enough time to compose our music. We have day jobs. We have other responsibilities going on. And the lack of time is a big limitation for most of us because we need the time to make the music. We need the time to mix it. We need the time to master it. We need the time to upload this music into different royalty-free libraries in order for us to build our portfolio in our catalog, in order for us as well to get some sales. And this needs to happen over a period of time. And we really need to set a schedule for that. Now, you might only have an hour a day. I have at least allocated into my day at least 4 hours to work on my music. This has changed over time. I have many students who have a very important day jobs, or very demanding day jobs, I should say. And some of them, they wake up very early in the morning to dedicate 1 hour a day before everybody else gets up. I mean, these students, they even have kids like me. So we're on the same boat. We're on the same kind of like struggles when it comes down to time and responsibilities. And even though I work from home and I do this on a full-time basis, I still face different challenges when it comes down to the lack of time. It can really be a struggle at times, okay? So the lack of time is a big limitation. What I advise you to do is to actually allocate, even if it's an hour a day, okay? And this could be very early in the morning before you go to work, or late at night if you work more better at night. But because I work from home, I try to keep office hours when it comes down to working on my music or on my business in general. Obviously now when I have my second daughter, Melina, my schedule has been completely upside down. I've been going back and forth with juggling family life while my wife is at work, and then I do my work when she's around, and that's the way I balance my time. And it's a very important factor because I know that a lot of composers struggle with that. And I'm sure you've been in this scenario as well. You probably it's your day off, and you say, I have the whole day to compose a brand new music track. And I have all these hours to work on it and to mix it and master it. And at the end of the day, your results are not very good. That's because you have all this time, you have all this freedom and all these hours to work on it. But the reality is that when you have limitations and you have so much, only a small window of time to do that job, that's when you're actually under pressure and where you can actually perform better. So that's a way to overcome the lack of time, which it is a limitation, but at the same time, do the reverse. Actually set yourself an hour to compose a music track. Set yourself a limited time to actually just work on a particular task like mixing or mastering, because when you have and you are self-imposing your limitations of time, you will perform better. And I've done this, and I have suffered from this as well in the past. I had all this empty time to do my music, but I just couldn't focus. The results were very, very bad because I was not constricted. I didn't have that limitation of time which I have now because I have kids and I work from home, and I have family life, and I have many things. I have many balls in the air, and I always have to set little chunks of time to do a task. And an example would be this YouTube video. I'm taking care of my daughter, and I say like, okay, I can have like 5 to 10 minutes while she's doing this, and I can see if I can deliver this message very quickly. And maybe it could work better than actually having all these 8 hours of free time, and I never get my head around of actually delivering the message. I don't know if that makes any sense. Another limitation that we usually have as well is equipment or computers or very bad acoustics in our room. I mean, this is usually a big issue for most composers, and it's always, if only I can have this new computer, if only I can buy this expensive plugin, if only I can use this very expensive library. Yes, it is true that you can get better sound if you have better sounding sample libraries and whatnot, but the reality of it is that you can, if you learn how to use what you already have, you will be better off, and you can learn a lot, okay? Even if you do heavily cinematic music, you still need to learn about velocity, about expression, about modulation, and all of these different factors that is required for you to create high quality cinematic music. And you can do it with stock plugins, okay? Nowadays, there are computers and all of the stock plugins that come and all of the sounds they come with, they might not be as good as the expensive boutique sample libraries, but I have heard people that have done amazing compositions with very cheap, free stock libraries, sounds that come with their DAW. And I have heard the opposite. I have heard terrible compositions of people that have very expensive, high-end libraries sample, and it sounds wrong. Actually, it emphasizes the mistakes because it's such a good sounding quality sample library that they are using, but because they haven't done their homework when it comes down to modulation, expression, and velocity, when it comes down to programming those samples, it just sounds really bad. So don't let samples and expensive plugins. You ate your old banana? Here's my daughter Melina. Don't let that be a factor or be something that it will hold you back. That's my whole point. Actually, in the past, I used to use a lot of expensive compressors and plugins from Waves. And I set myself limitations and went all the way back to the very basics and use very basic stock compressors and stock EQs. And the same with the reverbs and all of this. And the reason why is because I put myself self-imposed limitations in order for me to see if I can create the same quality work or the same quality music that I will with an expensive SSL compressor or an SSL plug-in EQ. It's not about the gear. It's about how you use the gear, okay? And I have, what, you want to be in the camera? And kids are a fantastic way to see how the limitations that they have when they're learning how to walk, you know, and they're learning how to talk, and they just do the best that they can with the tools that they have. That's the message of this video, okay? So maybe your acoustic room or where you are, your acoustics are not very good, then buy some very cheap or affordable foam like the ones I have. These are the cheapest of the line, okay? If you don't have speakers, the high-end speakers, I had a student that he makes amazing music, and I will hear it and I will review it and we will go back and forth. After a while, he confessed that he doesn't have any speakers. He was doing all of his music on headphones. I was godsmacked. That he was producing this high quality music for months, okay? Selling music on Audio Jungle, and he was producing all of this on headphones. Are you putting music again? There's no excuse. Okay, actually, you should have put yourself limitations. Limitations are good. You can grow only with limitations. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't aim to get a better computer or better acoustic or better sample libraries. But with what you have is enough to get you started. That's the point of this video, okay? And actually, if you have very expensive high-end libraries, try to compose with the ones that you already that comes with your DAW, and do it as an exercise and nothing else really. If you focus heavily on using a lot of sample libraries, I don't. I usually go for real instruments. I play the guitar, so I like to combine real organic instrument playing, recorded with sample, because I believe that that's the best of both worlds. So even if you want to create a lot of, let's say, heavily cinematic strings compositions, the best of both worlds will be to use a sample library, and if you can find a violinist that can play, or a cello player, and you can combine and blend the both, like the sample program and the real one play with a microphone, you will be amazed of the results. So anyways, I don't want to drag this video too much. But I just want to, I felt like this was a very important point when it comes down to limitations, that we have limited time, but at the same time, my best work has been accomplished when I don't have a lot of time at my disposal. So put yourself limitations when it comes down to time. My computer and my gear is very old. My laptop is from 2010. I've been using a lot of stock plugins. Back in the day when I was using Pro Tools, I was using, all the virtual instruments were from Pro Tools, stock, old, a very old Pro Tools rig. It was a Pro Tools 8, and I was using Expand for all of my library sounds, like violins and strings and whatnot, pads and everything. Now I'm using Logic, and I'm using everything is Logic, stock Logic, the compressors, the EQs and everything. But I'm a guitar player, and I focus a lot on my guitar playing, and I don't program any guitar. I use everything that I play. So that's how I get around with it as well. But at the same time, all the compressors, I know that I can get the job done with a stock compressor. And yes, I can use a Waves SSL compressor and get the same kind of results. So, but I think self-imposed limitation is a good thing, and do it as an exercise, and you will be surprised how much you can learn and grow as a composer. So again, put your self-limitation when it comes down to composing your music track, okay? And put your self-limitations as well with the amount of plugins or high-end libraries and compressors and EQs. Try to use whatever comes with your DAW, stock, anything that is free, and try to get the best sound that you can possibly get with those tools, okay? And you know, learn while you're doing that. Learn while you're doing and working around those limitations. And you will grow as a composer for sure. And if you can get a good result with all of those self-imposed limitations, whenever you go and use high-end tools and better computers and better acoustic treatment and better microphones and whatnot, you will be ahead of the game for sure. So anyways, remember, it's not about the gear, it's about how you use the gear. And the best plugin that you have, I'm sorry to tell you this, the best plugin that you have is your ears. Learn to use your ears. There's no amount of gear that will make your music sound better, but your ears. That's the best plugin, I'm telling you. So anyways, guys, thanks a lot for all the love and support. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done this yet. If you're starting out doing stock music, download my free guide, link in the description. And as always, rock and roll, and here's to your success.